Wake up, and stay woke. Cause this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, aka the Ball Hog, aka the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're gonna give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go. What's up, y'all? You know what it is. It's the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration. And if you are just back after a hiatus, I know it was the end of the year. We have a new format, same old show, same old groove, same old fun. Like we ask you every week, humbly, to please like, please comment, please share. And when I say share, I want you to share with everybody. Share with a friend, a foe, share with everybody you know. It's the Ball Hog Sports Talk, y'all. We're going to have a great Friday. I'll be joined by, the maestro, superhero DJ John Quick will be in the building. I'll be joined by the Maverick, Miss Majestic Maya will be in the building. But I wanted to just give the, sort of the audience, our loyalists, updates. We are officially a podcast. So you are watching it now, but you can listen to it later. If you are listening to us in the podcast world, welcome to the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We do it rough, rugged, and raw. I'm your boy, B. Brown, ESQ. I get to be the MC, and so I'm going to drive. I'm going to go ahead and start us off nice and easy. Then we're going to pick up some speed and bring in our amazing maestro and the Maverick. So this week, it has been a crazy week. We saw yesterday, over the last 2 days, we watched the unthinkable. We watched people who, I'm going to call them what they are, domestic terrorists, descend upon a U.S. Capitol. And at the Ball Hog Sports Talk, we'd like to have levity, but at the same time, we like to acknowledge such a tragic event in U.S. history, something that will go down in infamy for all the wrong reasons. And it seemed to be, no, absolutely was, incited by our own sitting current president. Tough to discuss sports in a world that has so been sort of unwound for us. It's been turned on its head, but yet still we're going to do it. And we're going to do it in a way that hopefully you guys will like. I'm going to start with the first quarter and get into some sports topics. And then I'll bring on both Maya and superhero DJ John Quick. But the first topic for this particular episode, and the episode is, what did you expect? And that is a sort of a play on what we saw. What did you expect when we look at TV and we see less melanated people protesting initially and then rioting eventually, and see the treatment where it's a bit different than what we saw with Black Lives Matter. For Black folk, we look at it and we're not really shocked. If you've heard of and talked to any of your Black friends and family members, they're not shocked. It's like, what did you expect? Of course, but that's what we've been saying. There's a different judicial system in America, both official judicial system and unofficial judicial system, in the sense of the way we were treated. So what did you expect is our theme today. And we're going to get into a little bit of sports related to that topic. What did you expect in terms of Mississippi State versus Tulsa? If you guys watched that, it was a big old brawl, bowl game brawl, and Mississippi State and Tulsa were the culprits of this brawl. People have talked about it ad nauseum. Oh, look at these thugs, this, that, and the other. And I'll just say, in terms of what did you expect, they came out in pregame, Mississippi State, without shirts. They were bare-chested and flexing on Tulsa. This is a game, and Mike Leach, the coach of Mississippi State, said it afterwards, like, this is a game where people get hit. People have a lot of testosterone. And so I wasn't shocked at all by the brawl. And oh, by the way, they played in the Armed Forces Bowl. So while we sit on our perch of judgment, they played in the Armed Forces Bowl. And if you haven't recognized, America and its armed forces are known for putting our head in other people's business and fighting. And so I'm not shocked at all that it was a brawl. I hate that people are calling them thugs and all other kind of stuff. It was a fight between two teams, and that's what guys do. They stand up for their brothers when there is a confrontation, and that's all that happens. Mississippi State being shirtless, I think, got it all going. There was a big hit at the end by Mississippi State that sort of carried it over to the end of the game. But I will call my man Mike Leach and all the coaches because, what's the guy from Florida, Dan Mullen? He also had a brawl. They're like puppet masters. They're behind it. They're pulling the strings on this. So I'm not shocked that they've created an environment where these players go out and fight at the end of a bowl game. The Cleveland Browns, you see I wear my orange hat today because I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. Not only I'm a fan, I was there. For those of you who don't know, I was fortunate enough to play in the NFL. After playing at Notre Dame, I played for the Cleveland Browns. And I have not been able to say that publicly too often in the last few years because the Browns have been terrible. I'm a Browns fan to the core. My sons now, well, at least one of them, one of my two sons is a Browns fan. Do you know how hard it is to keep a kid in the family and make him a Browns fan when you go 0-16? You know how many times he tried to jump off this bandwagon? So many times, but I kept him close to me. I held on to him because I told him that when it does happen, when it finally happens and the Browns have a good team, we're going to celebrate. Well, here we are, y'all. We in the playoffs. The new Browns have only been to the playoffs. We've only been to the playoffs. Well, we've only had 3 winning seasons, 2002, 2007, 2020 now. We've only been to the playoffs twice. We have yet to win a playoff game. The new Browns, not the team that Art Modell took to Baltimore. The new Browns. And so here we go this Sunday. We're going to whoop up on the Steelers. I can't wait to have the maestro superhero DJ John Quick come to the screen because I know he might choose otherwise and think otherwise. But the Browns are here. For all y'all that laughed at us, for all the jokes that we endured, for all the trash talking that I've been hearing for years, I would like to be an adult and be responsible and not say I told you so and not put my middle finger up at y'all. But it's hard not to, y'all, because we arrived. We in the playoffs, and we gonna win in the first round. Yeah, we snuck in. The Pittsburgh Steelers decided to play the backups to the backups to the backups. I think at certain positions they had medical staff people in the game, but they ain't got nothing to do with me. We in the playoffs. We got there however we got there. And I think it brings up a good point. The Steelers were able to rest their starters because the way the new structure is, now it's 7 teams versus 6 teams. Only one team has a bye, and so it wasn't as important for the Steelers to fight for that second spot. It was fight for the first. I thought they were going to fight for the first spot. Gave that up, and now they get to play the Browns. They're going to lose, so get ready for that. Browns going to finally win a doggone playoff game. Myles Garrett at the end of the game went up and shook. He went up and gave dap to Mason Rudolph, which I thought was cool. He didn't, they just talked about the game. Some people interpreted that as Myles Garrett was lying about the fact that Mason, I almost call him racist Rudolph, Freudian slip, but that Mason Rudolph said a racist statement. I don't see it as him necessarily admitting that didn't happen or suggesting that didn't happen. I think that just as black folk, we got thick skin. We getting over it. When someone says a racist comment towards us, hello, America, we're used to it. And that's why when, we deciding on this topic, what did you expect? What did you expect? We turn our cheek all the time, get over it, get past it, because it's just another racist in a long line of racists. If you didn't see racism with the Confederate flag flying yesterday as people stormed into our U.S. Capitol, and if you didn't see racism or at least disparate treatment when the police officers essentially walked them in and took selfies versus the treatment that Black Lives Matter and the protests associated with some of the injustices of the summer, if you didn't see the difference in that, then you're part of the problem. So, but I'm happy that my doggone Cleveland Browns are going to the playoffs. We're gonna win one. Doug Peterson, who I played with at Cleveland, we were together. I've got 2, count them, not 1, but 2 career NFL catches. And both of those came at the hands of Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson was the quarterback there in Cleveland. So I want to be able to stand up for my quarterback. That's my quarterback and say something positive. But Doug Peterson, man, as a coach, bro, I don't know how you go out there and essentially tank a game. Hurts got benched. For those of you who did not see it, Hurts got benched in the fourth quarter. Beginning of the fourth quarter, it was a 3-point game. They had a chance. They, being the Philadelphia Eagles, had a chance to beat the Washington football team. Instead, Doug Peterson does the unthinkable. He decides, with close to 13 minutes left in the game, that he wants Nate Sudfeld to be in the game. He wants to get a look at Nate Sudfeld, who had been on the roster since 2017, who had been through training camps, who had been through off seasons, who they knew exactly who they had. At that moment in the fourth quarter with 13 minutes left, Doug Peterson wants us to believe that that was the perfect opportunity to get a look at Nate Sudfeld. I call BS on it. I think it reeks of them tanking, because by losing the game, they got the 6th pick of the draft. By winning the game, they would have gone down to the 9th pick of the draft. And it reeks of sort of what you expect. Doug Peterson knows he's safe, and he doesn't have to worry about job security. And my man, you're right, Cheeky Black. The 6th pick meant more than the 9th pick, which is one of the comments that just came in. And that's true. It boils down to these picks. But at the same time, the NFL's got to do something about that, because the New York Giants, who had a chance to make it to the playoffs, don't necessarily see value in that, because they had a chance to make it to the playoffs if indeed the Philadelphia Eagles would have put their best foot forward and won the game and had an opportunity to do so. But instead, they went in reverse by letting Nate Sudfeld play. And Doug Peterson is peeing on our leg and telling us it's raining, as my girl, the Majestic Maya, likes to say, and trying to make us believe that indeed it was a football decision. It was anything but a football decision. It was a business decision that the entire NFL had to painfully watch. So shout out to my man, Jalen Hurts. I do like him. They spent $128 million, wasted $128 million on the extension for Carson Wentz, and Jalen Hurts is essentially taking that job. But to not put him in a situation where he can try to win the game, I think what you did was undermine his growth. And shame on you, Philadelphia Eagles and Doug Peterson. Although you're my quarterback, I got to call a spade a spade. Not what we want to see as football fans. All right. Rounding out some of the sports talk, Cam Newton, who is everybody's favorite fashionista these days in the NFL, he broke the Pats quarterback rushing record. He broke 2 records in their last game. He broke the single rushing yardage in terms of the longest run by any quarterback in New England Patriots history. And he also broke the record for over the course of a year, the most yards by a quarterback. And all of it amounts to absolutely positively nothing. And I blame Cam Newton for that, to be honest, because Cam Newton has created this own. Now, how do I say that? As I sit here with, for those of you listening on Podcast World, you don't know that, but I've got a doggone handlebar mustache. Everyone knows that I'm pretty risque when it comes to how I like to dress. I like to wear hats. So how am I the one talking about Cam Newton creating almost a sideshow Bob element of himself? Because we focus on what he's wearing as opposed to what he's doing on the field. And the truth of the matter is, I can do that. I'm not the quarterback of the New England Patriots. I can do that. I don't have the pressures. And to be honest, in the corporate world, I've got to dial it back sometimes. No matter how creative and innovative I like to be with my fashion, I have to know the audience. And Cam Newton, I don't think, knew this audience, and he has essentially made himself irrelevant. He will probably not take a snap again, at least for the New England Patriots. And in doing so, he absolved Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels and that lackluster offense should be the topic, should be the focus of why the New England Patriots have gone in reverse this year. But Cam Newton and all his scarves and everything else, his hats, has taken the focus off of Josh McDaniels and given him a pass, because the last game of the year, it took to the last game of the year, week 17, for them to throw a touchdown to a tight end. Whereas we've known the New England Patriots as a tight end focused offense. Josh McDaniels got away from it. And Cam Newton, you let him off the hook. All right. Derrick Henry. Some people ask me whether or not Derrick Henry should be the MVP. And it's tough for me to say no, because he has surpassed 2,000 yards. But at the same time, I think it's Aaron Rodgers' award to lose, because the NFL has just become accustomed to it being a quarterback league. But I do look at the Derrick Henry 2,000-yard accomplishment, and I appreciate it more because we haven't had a 2,000-yard rusher since 2012. The last one that did it was Adrian Peterson, and it's become more and more of a passing league. So it is amazing. And you look at the last 2 weeks, you had a 6-touchdown performance by Alvin Kamara. Now you have my man, Derrick Henry, and Mr. Alabama himself. He has earned 2,000 yards, and it seems as though in a passing league, you got these two accomplishments in 2 weeks in a row. Derrick Henry, shout out to you. I don't think he wins the MVP, but that is pretty impressive. To get 2,000 yards in this NFL, in today's NFL, is pretty freaking impressive. A lot of defensive backs were on the wrong end of the stiff arms. So let's celebrate Derrick Henry in the 2,000 yards. He needed 223 yards or something before the game in order to get to 2,000 yards. They played the Houston Texans, and my man, J.J. Watt, and I say my man sarcastically, the guy who had everything to say about his teammates not giving effort, he was a part of that 41-point effort. He was a part of that 250 yards that Derrick Henry was able to run all through the Houston Texans defense, and J.J. Watt only had two tackles. So sometimes it's better to keep your mouth closed and say it in the locker room. But shout out to Derrick Henry, 2,000 yards. All right. And the last part of this opening episode as we get through in this segment and get ready for the next segment to bring on my man, DJ John Quick, and my sister, Miss Majestic Maya. The last topic has to be the University of Texas. They fired Tom Herman. And before the doggone dust could settle, before the ink could dry, before he had a full two-step off campus, they hired Steve Sarkisian. And I don't know if it makes sense for I always sort of frown at the Rooney Rule because it's form over substance. But the fact that the NFL teams have to at least interview a brother at a minimum is going to improve that coach's interview skills and prepare them for what eventually, hopefully, will be a head coaching job. I think looking at how quickly they announced Steve Sarkisian was going to be the coach, it was already decided. Right. They had already made a decision that Steve Sarkisian would be the next coach of the University of Texas. And it seems like deja vu because Tom Herman was everybody's favorite coach. He was the hot take for the coaching scene and the hiring scene, only 3 seasons ago. And all of a sudden, he's persona non grata. He's out of there at Texas. Texas, you got to reset your expectations. Stop hiring and firing coaches so quickly. Steve Sarkisian, not only did they hire him so quickly, but and I don't want to make it all about black and white, but again, what did you expect is the title of today's episode after watching what seemed to be a horror movie yesterday. But to see the treatment of those rioters, of those domestic terrorists versus the protesters of Black Lives Matter on the U.S. Capitol steps, what did you expect? And so I got to ask myself, what did I expect? That Steve Sarkisian, despite his pronounced trouble with alcohol, gets a second chance. And if that would have been a brother, I don't know if he would ever coach again, let alone hired so quickly for a program like the University of Texas. But it is what it is. And so with that, we're going to move on to the next segment. And for this segment, we're going into sort of family court. And for family court, for those of you who are some of our loyalists who have followed us, family court is when we bring on two excellent people as the MC, B. Brown ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration. Here is your MC. I get to play the judge of the family court. For family court, we bring on the notorious Miss Majestic Maya, the Maverick, as we call her, and we get to bring on the maestro, superhero DJ John Quick. The maestro is in the building. What's up, man?
What's good, man? What's good?
First of all, congratulations. The Ball Hog Sports Talk is no longer just live in the social media space on YouTube and on Facebook. We are officially a podcast. So congratulations to the Ball Hog Sports Talk.
The little engine that could.
You know what I mean? The little engine that could. So We are going to not only bless your screen visually, because we are some melanated, beautiful chocolate. We are also going to bless your ears in the podcast space. So bear with us. Make sure that you subscribe. And then for those of you who are in the live audience, as we ask you every week, please like, please comment, please share, and make sure that you at a friend in the comments because it's about to go down. Family Court starts now. What's up, family? How y'all doing, man? How y'all feeling after watching the shenanigans yesterday? The last 2 days on TV, and knowing that if the roles were reversed, if the shoe was on the other foot, if those were Black Lives Matter protesters, we ain't even got to say hypothetically if, because we saw what happens on the U.S. Capitol steps when the Black Lives Matter protests occurred. But if there was some other group of Black folk trying to run down, as we say, they literally ran down on the U.S. Capitol. I'll give you guys just a quick moment just to reflect, and then we'll hop into the topics of Family Court. What did you guys think about it, seeing it?
You want to go first, John?
I'll let
Okay.
you go.
Oh, okay, because I wrote it down.
Let's do it.
White privilege and live in color. It takes traitors because they're not terrorists, they're traitors. If they knew anything about America, they would know that they committed a treasonous act. Right. It takes these traitors to enter a building, which is a non-living entity, to show white people that white privilege exists. That's the first thing, okay? Because it's beyond the flag. And the other thing I want to mention, white people are perennial stove touchers. They're like little children. If you tell them, don't touch the stove is hot. They're like, I don't know if it's because they've been conditioned not to believe the source, which is Black people, when we say something to them because they think we're inferior to them, whatever. That's a whole nother topic. But we have said this ad nauseum when you stole us from Africa and all other parts of the world to be enslaved in this country. However, we told you, okay, not to touch the stove. So you got to turn it to John Diligent, touch a hot ass stove and burn off your fingerprints. It's not my circus, not my monkeys. I don't give a that building, are you serious? You care more about the building. This is exactly why Colin Kaepernick kneeled. It wasn't about a flag. It was about what it symbolized and how the people that literally built this country are continuously mistreated. I don't care about that building. They could fix that building. They can't dig up Breonna Taylor. They can't bring up George Floyd. They can't bring up all the millions of Black bodies that have been sacrificed for nothing, absolutely nothing, just for being Black. So keep your building. I don't give two shits about your building. And everyone who voted for that fat clown back in 2016, you're just as guilty as the people who raided that Capitol. You knew what he was going to do. He told you. You elect the clown, you get a circus. Dun, 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 dun. That's all I got.
Superhero DJ John Quick.
That
the
was
maestro himself. I know that when you looked at the TV, anything but musical vibes go through your mind as you watch that and see the disparate treatment. What say you before we hop in?
bruh. It was. I mean, wow. It takes a lot for me to be almost speechless, but I almost was speechless, man. But as you think about it, and you hear, people like Mitch McConnell and I think Lindsey Graham, talking about, oh, we need to move on. This is crazy. This was wrong and all. No, you were an enabler. You enabled this man to, do the things that he's done. And now you look stupid with like egg on your face, because basically what happened yesterday, those people who stormed the Capitol are insurrectionists. They are traitors. They are criminals. And it's just, the whole thing about the whole white privilege thing, like, dude rolled up in Nancy Pelosi's office, had his feet on the desk. And he looked like, they probably didn't report it, but he looked like the type that probably would have masturbated in there or took a piss in the office or something like that.
Just
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And hold up. And then it got worse. He stole her mail and posted it on social media.
Well, I think it boils down to sort of, that's why the topic is what you expect. What we saw on television was not only white privilege in the sense that they were treated very differently by the U.S. Capitol Police, but their expectation was, and this is where the title comes from. Their expectation was, of course we can do this. Of course we can get away with it. Of course the police won't fire. Now, I do send condolences to the young lady's family that got shot. But if you watch, they kicked down the door. Of course she expected not to be shot, right? And we can't even reach for our cell phone during a routine traffic stop. But the expectations are different. And so if you could be legally blind and still see that there was a difference based on the fact that there was a different community that showed up at the U.S. Capitol versus the communities that showed up all summer as the uprising was sparked by police brutality and injustices at the hand of our community paid, civilian paid police forces around the country. And so it's what did you expect? And you saw that their expectations were very different. All right, I'm going to hop in because we have to. Trevor Lawrence, there was a bunch of peach fuzz jokes. And because you guys get to, my light is all messing me up, because you guys get to be on.
You look like a Neo Soul video was going on.
I know, right?
I expected everybody to pop out the back.
For those of you I messed something up. For those of you in just audio land, you can't see, but I got all kind of like sunlight streaks over my face. But so if you didn't know, I have a handlebar mustache. So this particular story hit me kind of hard when the reporter asked Trevor Lawrence. She didn't realize that her mic was unmuted. She basically said he needs to cut that mustache off. What did y'all think about her mustache shaming my man Trevor Lawrence?
She didn't lie. She needs to cut his whole face off. That's an ugly man. Good God. He is so unfortunate looking. I swear. You would have to
bad though. I ain't gonna front.
Oh, really?
Fiance is fine.
I don't care. She got to put a bag over that face. That's an ugly ass dude. I don't give a shit how much money he has. I really don't. Ain't enough vodka in the world to make me mount that fucking stallion. Ain't enough.
All right. Well, no worries. Well, I'll say this, man. I'll say this. It's interesting, and it's not a big deal. She was a hot mic. She didn't realize her mic wasn't muted. But it's interesting that we kind of just brush it off when it comes to a female reporter making physical comments about a male athlete. And someone sent something to me. Is like, imagine if the roles were reversed and there was a hot mic with a male reporter saying something, whatever. Maybe not. Hopefully, it's not mustache when they talk about a woman. But
why you judging Bobby? Okay, I took care of that last week. Stop the judgment.
but it's just amazing how it's kind of a double standard. So and I'm sensitive about my mustache. Y'all stop talking about that man mustache. Trevor Lawrence is gonna be the first pick, but he better cut that mustache, according to that reporter. Serena was absolutely disrespected. The queen of sports, probably the best tennis player ever. I don't think that's a stretch. Maybe the best athlete ever. Even that's not a stretch. Pound for pound, looking at her accomplishments, she's in the conversation. There are people out there, the haters, but this particular hater disrespected her, and her husband came to her defense. And essentially the guy was like, hey, you're overweight. You're not as quick as you used to be. Spare us all and retire. I don't know if you guys read the story or heard about it. What did you guys think about this man disrespecting the Queen Serena?
First off, she's taller than him, so that's the first problem. She has more hair than him and more Grand Slam titles than him. He is a donut. Zero when it comes to winning anything. I don't give a shit how much money you have. People know Serena. They don't know your dumb ass. And shout out to her husband, Alex Ohanian. That's right. You stand up for your queen. Don't let these old punk ass, because that's what he is. He's a punk. He decided to go after Serena because Serena doesn't give him the attention he wants because he doesn't deserve it. Shout out to Alex. He know he got a queen.
All right. What's up, superhero DJ John Quick? What'd you think?
First of all, don't come for the queen unless she summons you.
You're right.
Don't come for the queen. Yo, Serena is one of the greatest athletes of all time, regardless of gender. And that dude, he doesn't even amount to a subject. He's like he's like some jester, So stay in your role, bro. You sound stupid. She can retire when she's ready to retire. All right.
And that's what the greats earn is the
Yeah,
decision,
exactly.
right? Just like we ain't gonna push Tom Brady out. We're gonna let him decide when he wants to retire. But
y'all didn't push out Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. Ion Tiriac is his name. Tennis player turned billionaire, and billionaires, again, back to the title. What did you expect? Why would he respect such a queen like Serena? So, but you played yourself, bro, because his, her husband was ready to throw them hands, and I love that. So,
exactly.
Defend your queen, man. ESPN called out for racial bias, and because during this, and I hate the fact that they call it Black Monday, but that's what they call it when all the NFL coaches are fired. But you had Adam Gase, and you had who else got fired? You had another white coach get fired, but it was Anthony Lynn that they used that verb fired. Doug Marrone. For Doug Marrone and Adam Gase, ESPN said that they parted ways with the team. For Anthony Lynn, it was he got fired. Anthony Lynn happens to be from my tribe, the Dark Brother tribe. And so just the visuals of it with the caption under it, the two white guys parted ways with their team, where Anthony Lynn got fired. Words matter. I'll let you guys chime in for a quick second. What did you think about that? And I like the fact that ESPN was called out. They did apologize, but that implicit bias seems to run rampant, even in the ESPN sports culture.
I just don't understand why honestly, what happened was all three got fired. So It should have been fired.
Right.
Part ways. Like, I'm sure none of them wanted to part ways. So it was just total BS. And yes, they needed to be called out on it. I was very disappointed for a network who has been, in all fairness, been spotlighting a lot of Black talent on air. I have to say that. But that was totally inappropriate, irresponsible, and lazy and just disrespectful. So yeah, I'm glad they got called out on it. And with the at least they apologized at the very least. But yeah, it shouldn't have happened in the first place.
This next topic I'm going to get to, Maya, I think is right up your alley because I found it laughable. And I posted the article basically saying disowning your owner. The WNBA owner happened to have been Kelly Loeffler. Senator Kelly Loeffler is a part owner of the Atlanta Dream. Well, all of our dream in America is one day to be able to own the owner, baby. And they sure did. They disowned the owner and they owned her in the sense that she got played. What did you think about this WNBA team? They wore a shirt that said vote Warnock at one point, or it's a Warnock world, something like that. What did you think about the WNBA players for the Atlanta Dream giving it to their owner?
Good. I loved every minute of it. It's their First Amendment right. Isn't that what white people stormed the Capitol about? Their First Amendment rights?
Right. Yeah.
So they have every right to voice their dislike towards that lazy. I want to call her lazy-eyed Susan because I don't know where the bitch is always looking at. You worth $800 million and you can't fix that crooked eye. Where are your priorities in life? But you're the same person.
Crooked letter I.
Well, all I'm saying is that she's the same person, along with David Perdue, that invested in body bags when coronavirus literally took over the country because of their financial interests. She needed to be called out. I don't care if she owns shit. She can own the world. She needs to be called out. She got exactly what she deserves.
She actually seems surprised. And that goes back to the white privilege. And that goes back to the what you expect. Right? She seemed genuinely surprised that her team would take that stance. Now, she was also one of the senators who was questioned for insider trading. So she is like the prototypical white privilege example. And I love that those young ladies was like, yeah, thank you, but no thank you. We gonna rock out. Like we not gonna rock like this because at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong, and the WNBA, Atlanta Dream, all of those young ladies, you did right by standing up for what's right. Shout out to Reverend Warnock.
Very quickly, we have to realize that they literally make money off the backs of Black people. You're going to understand that you're getting wealthy off of Black bodies. We're not taking this anymore, period. You make your billions off of black bodies.
Right.
You gonna learn how to respect us, period, point blank.
You gonna respect us. You gonna learn today. She learned today. Who also learned? My man LeBron James is and Mookie Betts. So they are talking about, since Kelly Loeffler might consider dropping her stake in the WNBA, LeBron put it out there. Let's put a group together to buy the team. And Mookie Betts chimed in. What do you guys think about that? Superhero DJ John Quick. I don't know if you got wind of that story, but that's pretty cool that, LeBron has the wherewithal to understand there might be an opportunity to buy, and the belief and the faith in the WNBA and that team to invest in it. What do you think about it?
That's a win for both entities, for LeBron and for the WNBA, because obviously he's going to bring more eyes to that league, which has been, in all honesty, struggling with its existence. And I don't think it's the product. I think the product is great. I think, the women, they embody great basketball principles. They may not be the high flying slam dunking types, but in terms of fundamentals, like I know a lot of coaches who tell their kids to watch the WNBA to improve their fundamentals.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing with my sons.
So I think LeBron being involved, that would be definitely a great punch in the arm for the WNBA. So I would love to see that happen.
I love it too. And Tanya, who's one of our frequent and loyal audience members, said she's tired of the white privilege. And I repeat that statement that she just posted, because I think it gets us comfortably to this next topic, because so many athletes have weighed in on white privilege over the last 2 days after seeing, again, this angry mob of domestic terrorists, insurrectionists, run down on the U.S. Capitol. It's just been a great year, right? In terms of athletes embracing their commitment to social justice. The AP Athlete of the Year, we talked about last week. The female athlete of the year was Naomi Osaka. The male athlete of the year was LeBron James. I love seeing the athletes weigh in on what is undeniably, unequivocally white privilege. The beautiful part about it, the only beauty I took out of it, is that honest people, white, black, and everything in between, honest people cannot deny, after watching yesterday, that was white privilege. And sometimes they got to see it. They got to taste it. They got to touch it. They got to feel it in order for us to make a change. All right. Last topic before we get out of the family court. Because a part of the family, y'all, what did you expect? I didn't expect this. A part of the family was ridiculed on Twitter. This University of Chattanooga, Tennessee coach went on Twitter. He was fit and tired, upset that indeed Purdue and Loeffler lost in Georgia. And he took aim at Stacey Abrams, called her Fat Albert, and said, "You're still not the governor." And he deleted the tweet, but tweets live on, my brother.
Too late, baby.
Too late, baby.
Too late.
So he signed up. He's the latest, not victim. He's the latest prize winner. And you gonna lose your job. And so he lost his job. I'll let you chime in first, superhero DJ John Quick. What do you think about a coach making that kind of statement?
Listen, he's the newest prize winner. And what Maya always terms, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I am so happy Chattanooga did the right thing. And just people are just, it just amazes me the level of stupidity people display on a normal basis. Like, right. You don't think like nobody's going to see that and call you to, or to the carpet on that? Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm glad you got the boot, man. You deserve it.
I'm glad he got the boot too. Maya, I'll transition to you before we go into halftime. What did you think?
Well, you have to realize, like, people like him, I use the term people very loosely, they're incredibly intimidated when someone is as effective at their job as she is.
Right.
That's the problem with, like, let's piggyback on the protesters. They weren't organized. They were just a whole mess. She lost. Well, the election was stolen from her, the governorship. But side note, she's going to be elected governor next term. So don't even worry about it.
It's not even going to be close neither.
She literally registered a quarter of the population of Georgia to go vote. She turned a state, over 800,000. There's only 4 million people in Georgia. She made it happen. Let's round up the 800,000 to 1 million. A quarter of the people in the state of Georgia, she got registered to vote. She is untouchable. I don't care. Let me tell you, she did her job. She's brilliant, and they are absolutely petrified of it. When you strip away white privilege and you got to go toe to toe with one of us, she shows you how it's done. Give her flowers today.
She absolutely did.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
I was watching ESPN yesterday, and I saw 2 white coaches say straight into the camera, I'm telling our young guys, when they lose, they need to look to Stacey Abrams as to how to come back from that.
Right on.
2 white coaches said that.
Right on. She is definitely the model. Love that she did it. All right, y'all. We're gonna get into our halftime. And halftime is gonna be our center court, and so I'll see you guys back in the fourth quarter. I know you'll be getting your fluids in and your Gatorades, and you're gonna be ready for the fourth quarter. You know how it is. You hold up the 4 fingers, baby. I'll see y'all a little bit in the fourth quarter.
Get my applesauce on.
There you go, applesauce. All right. So that is the Family Court episode, and so that was the Maestro Superhero DJ John Quick, the Maverick Miss Majestic Maya, and now we're gonna get into center court, which will be our halftime report. Our halftime is brought to you by Excessive Celebration Entertainment. Much more than a party, baby. We are an experience on top of your event. All right. So center court today happens to be about Stacey Abrams. So great transition. She is, like we said, everything that you could imagine as an example of how to bounce back. Today's center court is called What Did You Expect? Growing up, I had a front row seat watching a black woman get leapfrogged over and over and over again by some average white dude for opportunities that she absolutely was more qualified to get. While the injustice pissed me off, bearing witness to her resolve and determination against all odds was the best blueprint a young man could possibly ever have. The late, great Betty Brown, my mama, embodied what it meant to be a phenomenal woman, and she shrugged off all the disappointments and double standards on her way to eventually and finally being awarded her own school as a principal. Not surprisingly, she hit the ball out of the park at her school, helped transform it from a struggling environment into an exemplary school. When she retired, the city where her school was located named that particular day the Betty Brown Day. Fast forward a bit, and I'm happy to see that same resolve and determination by a black woman on full display again. But this time, it is for the whole world to see, not just a community. Stacey Abrams could have started one big pity party after losing a close, hard-fought gubernatorial race in Georgia, one in which a lot of people thought was stolen from her. Instead, she picked herself up and dusted herself off and rolled up her sleeves, and she got to work. And when a phenomenal woman like a Betty Brown and a Stacey Abrams, when a phenomenal woman gets to work, I mean, when they really, really, really get to work, we see just how it pays off. Stacey put an entire state on her back and led the charge for what was thought to be an unthinkable at one point. Turning Georgia from red to blue for a presidential election. Stacey got voters registered to vote in record numbers. She helped change young people's views on the importance of voting and gave them the keys to drive their agendas right through the front door of politics. While you would think her crown was safe and ready for full recognition after the Biden-Harris ticket won Georgia and the election, Stacey was just getting started. With 2 Senate runoff elections that had to come through Georgia, to determine the balance of the Senate and essentially fated the country over the next couple of years, Stacey Abrams kicked it up a notch. Through her determination and focus, she put 2 candidates on her back, Jon Ossoff and Reverend Warnock, and walked them across the finish line to a championship. And while we all should have been celebrating Stacey Abrams and her impact yesterday, when it finally was decided or determined that indeed Ossoff won his runoff as well, when it was finally time for her to just enjoy it, some domestic terrorists decided that day they were going to rush the U.S. Capitol and stole the news cycle. But I digress, because this is about Stacey. She deserves praise, and that is why she is the focus of center court. She is also an example for sports. And today's sports culture, where young athletes want and need instant gratification, look at Stacey. Watch her example. Pay attention to how full the transfer portals are at each one of these college campuses, because each player, they don't want to spend time on the bench and earn playing time these days. They want instant gratification. Even at the youth level, parents are getting upset with me because their 9-year-old child is not the star of the team. Or if you tell them they need to do a lot of work in the offseason, they get upset. Well, enter Stacey Abrams, setting the example of working through adversity, earning her prize, and for that, she has earned the MVP here in the center court. But what did you expect? It's a phenomenal woman. And it's what phenomenal women do, and they make it look phenomenal. That's a word here on the center court. And I'm glad to have dedicated that time and space to Stacey Abrams, because she absolutely deserves it. All right. Third quarter. We're going to get moving quick because I got to bring back the crew for the fourth quarter. These are going to be quick hitters. And so this is about strictly business. Finally, and I think it makes sense to connect this to the Stacey Abrams story. There is a woman who will be a coach in a Major League Baseball franchise. Bianca Smith is her name, and the Boston Red Sox have done what should have been done a long time ago. There's a female coach in baseball, a sport that is so numbers focused, and women have been in the cybermetrics of baseball for so long. Finally, long overdue, but go ahead, Miss Bianca Smith, a sister nonetheless. Phenomenal woman. Go ahead. She is the first coach, black female coach of a MLB team in that franchise, in their minor league team. Adam Silver sets the market for expansion teams. I think this is going to be an interesting ride. And the market itself, right, is $2.5 billion fee for a possible expansion team. And so I ain't got it just yet. I could put something on it, but I'm happy that it's out there. I want to see the LeBrons of the world and the B Browns of the world, because I could put $25 towards it. I want to see a black-owned team, and hopefully this expansion opportunity gives us the opportunity to do just that. The NBA has been ahead of everybody else when it comes to social justice, embracing their players and the players' families outside of the court, outside of the playing field, for them, the basketball court. And so it's now time for brothers to get a part of the ownership space in the NBA. Let's do it, y'all. All right. Russell Wilson tosses $100,000 to David Moore. And what do I mean by that? Russell Wilson and Tom Brady, they're helping their receivers out, and I love it. And what I mean by that is a lot of the NFL contracts are based on performance. They have these performance metrics. If you accomplish a certain thing, you get a bonus. And two receivers, David Moore for the Seattle Seahawks and AB, Antonio Brown for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had to meet certain thresholds in order to get those bonuses, and they were close. And both Russell Wilson for the Seahawks and Tom Brady for the Buccaneers helped them out by just giving them some. They both like basically shovel passes to making sure they earn that money. And what did you expect? That's why you look at those players. You look at Russell Wilson. That's why he's loved in the locker room. You look at Tom Brady. That's why people have been protecting him for so long. The quarterback position is made for leaders, and I love seeing these two shoe-in first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks, very, very comfortable in their job with the utmost job security, because that's what it takes for you within garbage time to call your own play and do a shovel pass. But I'm glad to see that they got those brothers paid. My man, MJ, you know what I mean, the social justice MJ. He's the new social justice warrior. And Maya's not on screen, or you would be seeing her roll her eyes at me very hard right now, because she doesn't like Michael Jordan the way that I do. But Michael Jordan had to fight for his own name in China. The Chinese translation of Jordan, someone owns it, and Michael Jordan was fighting for it. They paid him $46 for emotional suffering. So he probably gonna take that $46,000 and go to the. No, I ain't gonna say that. He ain't going to the club. Michael probably gonna go gamble it away, because that's chump change for him. But hopefully he'll take that $46,000 and give it to some social justice cause. MJ, Way to fight for your name, but they ain't mess around in China. Former NBA player just acquired Ebony magazine in a bankruptcy sell-off, and love to see it. My man, Junior Bridgman is his name, and he's done very successful things in the Detroit area. He's been a very successful business person, and now he's taking it to the next level. He's purchased Ebony magazine and that catalog. Some might say it's not worth anything. I think the pictures alone are worth something. Hopefully he can resuscitate Ebony magazine, because them pictures, man, they helped me through my childhood. That's all I'm gonna say, is that I knew exactly where to get to the great pictures. They helped me through my childhood. All right, y'all. The last story in this segment, third quarter, before we bring back the crew, is Prime Time keeps picking off the pieces, baby. He has now gotten the 33rd highest rated receiver in this recruiting cycle. Not only did he get a highly recruited, I think 4-star wide receiver, he also got a new wide receiver coach, and he's going to bring him on as the co-offensive coordinator. Prime Time is making it rain in all the right ways. He's bringing talent to Jackson State, and I think Jackson State is going to be quite a team to watch. So watch out for him, man. Prime Time, you are the MVP of the debate, HBCUs versus PWIs. You're making it happen, my brother. Shout out to you, man. Keep on doing it. All right. So now we're going to shift quickly into the fourth quarter. We got the traffic court. For traffic court, you know what it is. I have to bring on the crew. The crew is the Maverick, Miss Majestic Maya. The crew is the maestro, superhero DJ John Quick. But in traffic court, we all got different roles, because the Honorable B. Brown ESQ is presiding. I happen to be the judge, but luckily I have with me the jury. That is the maestro, superhero DJ John Quick. And you know who the executioner is. The Maverick, Miss Majestic Maya. Judge, jury, and executioner here for the traffic court on our way out in the fourth quarter. Let's get through some good sports topics, y'all. You know how it is. At the end, the honorable judge will decide, is it reasonable or excessive, but we'll have some conversations first.
Matt, before we get started, I just want to say I was impressed with the usage of cybermetrics.
Cybermetrics. There you go, man. Cybermetrics.
I think you're the first black person I ever heard say that.
Hey, cybermetrics, man. Hey, the nerds in the back of the math class, they used to think that they couldn't be in the sports world. Nah, man, them nerds got a place now. Cybermetrics, baby. So we're gonna start off with the mask versus the mask. The Holy Cross played a game versus Boston University, and both teams played in a mask. What did y'all think about the mask versus the mask? If you got to wear a mask, is it too much to be out there on the court? I'll let you start, Maya.
Yes, they shouldn't be playing anyway. Whatever. Execution style. How about you, superhero DJ John Quick? Mask versus mask. What do you think?
If you feel you got to wear a mask to play basketball, you shouldn't even be playing. Come on.
All right. So the judge is going to decide on this one. I think that's excessive. If you got to wear a mask. Now, while my kids practice in mask and they train in mask, we've been working on that for a while. You put the wrong person out there in the mask, you got a problem, my brother. Yep. We saw the University of Florida issue that was related to COVID. This could be a byproduct of it too, because if you're not in that type of shape where the impediment on your airflow, you're not ready for that, there could be a tragedy on the court. So, all right. So now, we really pounced on Dwayne Haskins. We did. Well, I mean, we got on him bad, but I think this other story is very similar. This rookie from the Tennessee Titans, Isaiah Wilson, who happens to be from, I think he's from Brooklyn, but yeah, he's from Brooklyn. He was caught in a video because, again, in this Generation Z, if it ain't on Instagram, it didn't happen. So they got to post everything. But he was caught partying with scantily clad women, and this was after a series of events. But no one's really talking about it. Do y'all think this is another Dwayne Haskins situation? And what did you think about this particular rookie and his shenanigans and exposing his team to what could be COVID spread? Go ahead. Superhero DJ John Quick, I'll let you start.
You got one job, bro. Like you could do all that in the offseason, man. Calm the hell down, bro. Just go ahead.
And he hasn't played well. So he hasn't been doing his one job well. He has not played well at all.
He's a focus.
He's a focus.
Yeah.
Maya, what'd you think?
He needs to focus on that little white chick on his arm and do his job.
Yeah.
That's it. Remember during the draft?
Yeah, I remember.
That's
Yeah, Polly prep. He had Polly right next to him. Focus on Polly and your job, boo boo. And stop trying to get Tanasia and all the scrippers with the big booties.
Not Tanasia.
You picked your side playing it.
Man, he just want to see a little shaker shake. That's all. He want to see a little extra. That's all. He wants some salt and pepper together. He don't want just the salt no more. He wants pepper.
Too much salt will kill you.
All right, so we got the bubble is not just an NBA thing anymore. They are asking the G League essentially starting in February to play in a bubble. So sacrifices abound when it comes to that. I thought the NBA bubble made sense because them brothers getting paid. So put me in a bubble if you're gonna pay me like that. Guaranteed contracts and all. G League, they're not getting paid nearly as much. Not guaranteed contracts. They don't have the prospects and the riches that the NBA players have. Do you think it's going too far for the NBA to give them a bubble, the G League?
Weren't they a D League a few years ago? I need them to stop changing these damn letters.
They changed it a little while ago.
Oh God! Except no one who cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. All right. Yeah.
And G for ground? Like what are we talking about?
The fact that nobody actually cares, I'm gonna call this one excessive. NBA, let them dudes go home, man. That's not, like it's just too much.
Go to the club. Okay.
Straight up. NBA contact tracing, which has become more and more scientific. It is sophisticated. I remember growing up when people used to like create, the little Q scan that you put on products. At one point, people were saying that we're going to have one of those tattooed on our body, and they're going to know where we're going. And this is the closest thing to it. What do y'all think about this? This contact tracing has become more developed, more entrenched. And the NBA, those players, wherever you go, whoever you with, NBA Wise been trying to come up with some form of contact tracing forever. But now the NBA is doing it. This is contact tracing to the highest degree. What do y'all think?
All you need is a cell phone. You could trace everyone through a cell phone. Don't be injected. Well, I was about
don't be giving up. I was about to say you about to give up the goods.
I was about to say something very not R-rated. It was a little further down in the alphabet. So
but you about to give up. You almost messed up woman code too. You almost told on yourselves how y'all keep up with the brothers, man.
Y'all just too stupid enough to keep up. You know why men get caught when they cheat? Because y'all stupid. Women don't get. If we get caught, we want to get caught. We want you to bust us because we've been doing it for so long. We don't care at that point.
How did this become a referendum?
Hold on.
Yes.
I done seen chicks scream at the top of their lungs running out the dorms.
Yes.
Tell me about y'all wanted to get caught. Nah.
Let me tell you.
I wish you have
never.
First of all,
you might not have, but don't say women.
I don't cheat.
No, I'm
messing up the women code.
When I'm done. But if I were to be in that predicament, I'm not stupid enough to get caught.
Okay, well that's you. Trust me, some of your brethren, yes.
Your sister be getting caught. All right, so I think contact tracing just found a whole new viability, a whole new business model. Some of that contact tracing. NBA, look, if you got to do all that, man, you're going too far. I think that either you have a bubble or not, and if you choose not to have a bubble, let's not be so exquisite with this contact tracing. A brother just want to go to the other side. I want to go to the west side. I ain't doing nothing.
Bob, everything has to go through the union. So if the union's good with it, then hey. It is what it is. So
I'm gonna say it's excessive, but I understand the NBA trying to protect its most precious asset, which is the players. Kyrie took a personal day, and KD is exposed to COVID. He's got to miss 4 games. I thought Brooklyn was going to be the bomb this year, but it already seems as though, and they look good on the court. But first of all, like a personal day, like nah, dog. I could take a personal day because I ain't making that kind of money. You making money, bro. A personal day, and KD just don't seem to get out the way of trouble, man. He's like that dude that anything is happening, you can guarantee that it's going to impact KD.
There was a character of Fat Albert one episode. I can't remember his name, but oh man, but he says just stay in trouble, just bad luck.
Like a dark cloud over him.
Breathing Murphy's Law. If something can't go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah. I'm gonna call that excessive too on the reasonable. No, I gotta call it excessive. You don't get to take a personal day. And KD, it's excessive, bro. Stop.
Hold up, Bob. He didn't even tell the coach. He sent a text to the players. He didn't even tell the coach he was taking a personal day.
Man, hey,
like, bro, what you doing?
Yeah,
that's like me texting my coworkers, but I ain't gonna tell my boss.
I didn't go to the portal to take the day off. I just told everybody else. Nick Saban's daughter has officially given Ohio State some bullet board material, because in Ohio State, you see what they do with bulletin board material, because they opened the can on Dabo. Woo! But she basically said that Ohio State is trying to, it ain't really COVID. They're trying to buy extra time for Justin Fields to get that hip right, because he got that hip took a little action in the game. I don't know what y'all think about that. Do you think she's got a point there? Do you think Ohio State is really just trying to buy some time and COVID is the best explanation?
We call it gamesmanship. Gamesmanship. Yeah, it would be smart of them too. You want Justin as healthy as possible, because we see what Justin can do when he's healthy.
A healthy Justin's a bad man. I don't know if you thought about it or not, Maya, but do you think that's gamesmanship, or do you think COVID is really impacting Ohio State?
I say it has, but I'm not listening to the opinion of a coach's daughter. Bitch, who you? Go somewhere.
Well, let's hope that the players are thinking the same thing, because they might be thinking she done got us in a whole heap of trouble. I'm gonna say that it's probable. I think it is. It's a part of the gamesmanship in the sense that why wouldn't Ohio State try to get ahead of or an advantage? Because even with, as Maya likes to call him, trying to get an advantage, my response was everybody in the NFL is cheating. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And I think the Ohio State is just taking a page out of Nick Saban's book, because he is Mr. Gamesmanship, Mr. Strategic when it comes to getting an advantage. And so, yeah, I mean, Ohio State's trying to do the same thing. In a word, give me your prediction. Ohio State, Alabama, who do you got winning it all for the national championship, Maya? Ohio State or Alabama?
Ohio State.
You're going Ohio State. All right.
Yeah, I can't do anything for Bama. It just symbolizes everything wrong with the country, the world, inbred, missing teeth, Confederate flags. No, absolutely not.
They got all that. They got some doggone good football, as Notre Dame found out. Superhero DJ John Quick, who you got? You got Ohio State or Alabama winning it all?
I want Ohio State to win it. I want them to blow them out. But Alabama got so much talent. And then the receiver that actually was better than Devonta Smith might play this
Waddle
week.
might play?
Yeah.
All right, so let me just say this.
A game time decision.
Now, we are in traffic court, and I know that I'm the judge. I just saw a comment posted that said, I used to cheat in Madden all the time, by my man Scott Bibb, who was my law school partner. We went to law school together. And I just want to say for the record, man, you lying to your breath stink. Boy, I ain't never cheated. I was the man in Madden. I used to whoop you, boy. Don't you ever disrespect your grandpappy. I wasn't even your daddy in Madden. I was your grandpappy. I put Madden down a long time ago, man. So I got to live vicariously through these comments, because I ain't had a Madden stick in my hand in a while. But I'm going to pick for the Ohio State, Alabama. The joystick. The joystick. My goodness, get your mind out the gut. Ohio State versus Alabama. I don't know how I pick anybody other than Alabama. Nick Saban knows how to play in these big games. He's got talent abound. He's got 3 of the top 5 Heisman vote getters on one offense. And the first time a receiver won the Heisman Trophy since 1992, Desmond Howard, and nobody in their right mind would question whether or not he deserved it. He absolutely deserved it. That brother
Randy Moss should have won it this year. That's what I'm saying.
He should have
won it that year.
He got penalized for Marshall.
Small school. Yeah, mid-major.
Yeah, he got penalized, but the Slim Reaper, baby, out there getting buckets on the basketball court. That's the best way to say it, because he's snatching bodies. I'm going with Bama to win. I don't think it's going to necessarily be close. Ohio State, while they've had a great season, I don't think they've got enough to beat Bama. And look, for all of those who talked about Notre Dame not fitting, I'm just going to say this in parting, because we got to get to the very end of the show. I think that what Dabo Swinney was saying when he ranked them 11th, basically what he was saying is not that they're the 11th best team. What he was saying was, and I agree with him, is that if one team plays 11 games and another team plays 6 games, by rewarding the team that only played 6 games, you're penalizing the team that played 11 and saying that those other games didn't matter. That's 5 additional games to sustain injuries. That's 5 additional games in order to have a COVID outbreak. That's 5 additional games to show your tendencies and have the opponent prepare for them. So, no, he wasn't saying that Ohio State was the 11th best team. What he was saying is, in the spirit of fairness, that if they've only played 6 games of no fault of their own, that does something when it comes to whether or not they should have the opportunity. I'll let you guys get the final word on it, and then we got to wrap it up.
You're
what do you guys?
Too much credit, Bob. He's not that smart.
Yeah.
He's maniacal.
Yo, I understand what he's saying, though. I mean, he ate those words, though, and I loved it.
He ate those words. But from a pure football standpoint,
he's right.
They had access to all their players. They didn't have the injuries, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't have as much game film out there. So when Clemson was on the ropes, there weren't as many tendencies to game plan against. And that's a competitive landscape that people don't really appreciate.
He should have been prepared. That's not Ohio.
Yeah, he was prepared.
But we can flip it too, because that means that Ohio State team didn't have as many game experiences.
They didn't have as many game experiences, but I'm talking about from a scouting standpoint.
Oh, no.
They had a full body of work.
I agree 100%.
Whereas Clemson didn't. And I'm never going to defend Clemson. We should have got my boy back on here and clown him a little bit. Radio Raheem.
Clemson?
Yeah. I'll bring him back.
Yeah, he won't answer the call no more.
That was a kid, bro.
But I'm giving a football explanation to why I think that there was some substance to what Dabo was trying to say. All right, y'all. That's been the Family Court. We have more excessive than reasonable this week, so we'll see what happens. Thank you to the juror, the maestro himself, superhero DJ John Quick. Thank you to the executioner, the Maverick, Miss Majestic Maya. Great show, you all. We're going to shut it down. Congratulations on officially being a podcast. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Be safe out there. And don't go marching on the Capitol Hill, because they're gonna treat us different.
Don't do that.
You will get shot if you're black.
You will get shot. Y'all be good. All right, y'all. This has been a great show. This is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy B Brown ESQ, aka the Ball Hog, aka the Mouth of the South, aka Mr. Excessive Celebration. This week's episode, called "What Did You Expect?" is really just a moment to look at what we saw on TV. Look at the images that support and verify what your black friends have been telling you forever. There are 2 different Americas. That treatment, that distance of reality between 2 different parts of the same America, it boils down to expectations, and white privilege comes with an expectation. As black folk, we don't have that same expectation. So we're baffled when we watch something like that on TV. I say all that to say, I'm not telling you to shoot the people who were ran down on the U.S. Capitol. What I'm saying is stop shooting black folk that are unarmed, and let's make this thing a lot more fair. That has been our show for the week. Thank you for joining us. We ask you, like we ask every week, we ask you humbly, please like, please comment, please share if you're part of the live audience. If you are a part of our podcast audience, and we are available on all podcast platforms, but you can find us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your podcast. You can find Ball Hog Sports Talk, one word, just as we always put it, Ball Hog Sports Talk. Look for us, subscribe, listen, tell a friend. This has been a great show. God bless America, y'all. Let's hope we get this thing back on track. In a few short days, y'all, the 20th, we count down 12 days. There will be a new administration and hopefully new hope for America. Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy B Brown ESQ, aka the Ball Hog, aka the Mouth of the South, aka Mr. Excessive Celebration. Thank you for your support. We out. Peace.